Hello everybody and welcome on today's video. Today I'd like to show you a time-lapse video of my mid-sized broom field maple. So let's start right now. Today is May the 14th, I think, something like that, and finally this one is starting to bud out. Now I am not sure if he's going to make it through the season. Sometimes the buds just open and that's it then. But since that everything here is green, I think it's going to be okay. It's been a strange season for these field maples. I don't know what to think about that. So, well, I'll keep an eye on this and I will see. It is the end of January here, and well, I guess it's the end of January everywhere. And this is my little broom style field maple. As you can see, it has been wired this winter, and it's starting to get some nice shape. I'm quite happy with the branch distribution at this point. So I'll give you a little top view to have a look at that. Now there is a little problem when you look to this tree from the top. So here we have the front again. I need to show a little bit more of the roots, but I cleaned it off. It was full of moss, and well, now the moss is removed, but I added some substrate to protect it a little more from the frost. We don't get a whole lot of severe frost here, but anyways, it's better to protect it when you can. So for the top view now. So this is the tree. When you look at it from straight above it, this part is the front. So we have a quite good distribution of branches, quite good ramification. Most of the time it is like it's supposed to be, one that becomes two, here the same. I think this is a little dead stump, yeah, which is okay because we have two buds here, so one becomes two. But with maples I noticed that most of the time it is better to let the dead stumps until it starts to grow again. Here I have to do some bud selections. This is a bud that is pointing straight up, so I really don't want that. So this looks good. The only thing that concerns me a little is this part here, you see, so it's where the tree was chopped, and well, I have some moss here growing in, and I think that it is going to rot out the whole tree. So I think I need to do something about that. I'm going to pluck away this moss, and I'm a little bit concerned of what I'm going to find under it. Now, of course, in the summer this is not a big problem, because when you water the tree, this portion becomes dry quite fast in the sun, but in the winter, when it stays wet, it's not good. So I saw different possibilities. Some people apply wood paste, but in this spot it is not really what you want, because water is gonna seep through the little cracks at the sides anyway, so that's not good. On the other hand, I also saw pictures of trees that were rotting from the inside, and well, I must say, after a few years this looks really spectacular. So that's also a possibility. Let nature do what it wants to do. But okay, this looks not too bad. It's not that I'm going in 10 centimeters. But I think that the best thing to do now is to apply some lime sulfur, not to get it white or something, but to stop the rotting and stop the moss from getting in. So once this is cleaned out, this is what I'm going to do. So I'll be back in a second. So here you have a close-up of the hollow, and it's almost clean now. So I'm going to take a little brush and some lime sulfur and get this a little bit impregnated so that the rotting stops. Could use some wood hardener. I also saw someone using a little bit of wax from a candle, which might be a good idea. But first of all, need to stop the living organisms to thrive in this wound, like moss, algae and stuff like that. It's starting to become a little deeper here. Now another good thing to do, of course, is scratch the sides of the wounds so that the callousing is a little more fastened, and well, still is going to take a whole lot of years before you close this, but okay. Some lime sulfur. Everyone that ever worked with lime sulfur knows the typical smell of this product. It's the so-called rotten eggs smell, and it's really not nice, but well, it does the trick. So it's certainly going to stop algae and moss from growing here. And well, that's what I want now. So I'm using quite a bit here. Okay, and I'm doing this right now because there's not going to be any rain, because I don't want all this lime sulfur to get out and get mixed in the roots. So that's it. I think this one is good to go. We will get some growth in a week or maybe 4 or 5, starting in March most of the time, these little field maples. So yeah, I'm can't wait to see it grow. It's the last week of February, and well, it looks like all these field maples are starting to grow now. And what I wanted to do now is just scratch some of the bark here off to close that gap. So when you scratch the bark and you go back to living tissue, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but just going to open this bark here, the cambium, so that I get again the green portion. It will probably close faster, so that's what I need to do now in order to close this hole here. So it's going to take a few minutes. So I'm going to try to zoom in here from this angle. Maybe I should move the camera so that there is a little more light. Yeah, I'm going to move the camera. So here you can see that I've been scratching just to get back to the living part, but still it's a big hole. And I hope that it closes. If it does not close, well, it's going to drill right to the tree, but that's gonna take quite some time. So, well, I don't know. I'll see. Maybe I should buy some wound paste. Might be a good idea. I don't know. Well, anyway, so it's the start of the growing season now, and I wired this tree with copper wire, and copper wire, forget it. You're not gonna reuse that. So better take it off clean in little pieces. So always nice to not reuse, but take care of the copper that you remove. You can bring it back to the metal guy in the neighborhood, so that's always good. Then it's going to get reused in one way or another. So let's save the planet. Okay, it's also time now to do something about the buds, because on a maple, this is aluminium, because on the maple you have tons of buds, and you need to do a selection, because otherwise you're gonna have growth everywhere and not especially where you want it. So I'm going to start by removing most of the terminal buds. Oh, I forgot a piece of wire here. That's just aluminium. And well, as you see, most of these maples, they make 2 buds on every place, so yeah, that's good. One that becomes 2, but then you have, of course, when you have 2 buds that have grown here and they have the central, then you have 3. So it's always good to remove some and try to alternate it. So I'm going to carry on with that. This looks quite good. I have a bud here on the outside, a top bud, which you always have, so I don't need that one, and there are probably 2 at the bottom too, so I'm going to remove that. I will keep this little one and then remove that and the whole section here. Here we have 2, that's good. Removing the buds down, keeping these 2. Here I have a nice strong bud that goes that way, but I need more growth here, so I'm going to remove that one and keep this one. Here I don't need it. This looks good. I don't really need that upright branch here. And I'm going to keep these 2 buds and remove this portion. This is going back in, so don't want that. I'm not sure that this portion is alive. Let's scratch the... Oh yes, it is. So that's fine. Is this alive? No, this piece is dead. Okay. I'm gonna shorten this. That looks good. And then finally the biggest branch here, a bud on the inside. It's no use. Little bud here. One going straight down, one going straight up. This looks okay, but I have a better one, maybe. No. Yeah, I'm going to remove this and then this and shorten this. And I think I'm done. This tree can grow. It's still the beginning of April, and my mid-sized broom field maple bonsai is doing rather well. It's starting to look like a tree now that there are leaves on it, but I'm not completely happy with the view on this side. You see, I also lack something here, which is a little bit of a problem. And another thing that I do not like, well, I like it, but it can be improved. It is this this branch here, which would be better if it came a little more to this side, so that this little branch in the back could come a little more to this side and fill this space in. And then, well, yeah, so I'm going to try to give it a bend, which is of course a little tricky in this season, but I prepared some raffia. It's nice and wet now, and yeah, I don't think I'm going to do an enormous bend here, but anyway, I want to protect the bark this time, because I don't want to damage the bark. So I'm going to wrap this branch in raffia and then do some wiring. So this is going to take some time, because you want to do it very carefully and not destroy the leaves that you have, because everything is quite young and fragile. So I'll be right back. Well, I think I did a rather clean job here, so I'm quite happy with this. So now the thing is, I need this branch to come to here and then twist it so that this part comes a little more to this side, and that little branch comes a little more to that side. So therefore I'm going to use 2 wires, not too thick, but and I must think, I must wait a minute. So I want the branch to, so yeah, I must wire in this direction. The direction of your wiring is extremely important. Some people say I always wire counterwise or in the other direction. That doesn't make no sense. You see, if you wire in this direction and you twist the trunk in that direction, you will tighten the wire. If now I turn the tree in the other direction, I will untighten the wire and the wire will not be effective. So you must know what you want to do before you apply the wire. I hope this makes sense. Again here, so yes, you must anchor your wire. This is really important, but you don't have to use 2 branches for that. As long as your anchor is stable, this is good. Okay. And the raffia serves 2 purposes. So it's going to compress the tissue on the trunk, on the bark, so that it doesn't split, and it's also going to protect the bark in this situation. So I need the whole thing to turn and come to here. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, that's already a little better. Going to grab my pliers now. This is also something you can do because you protected the bark. So you can now really grab everything. hope it is on camera. So if I wouldn't have used raffia, there's no way that I'm grabbing my trunk this way, of course. Okay. Yeah, well, that's not bad. This branch is now a side branch, and this one will become a side branch, and this is now the top. So that's not bad. I'd like maybe to have this a little more like so. So I'm going to push that wire, just one of the two, which is more than enough. So this opens everything up. So that's good. And I just need a really small wire here to position that branch. So I'm going to start quite low, again to anchor this, and then just give it a little direction. Little one in the back. So very loosely, just give it the direction that I want it, so that it grows like this. And yeah, I think that's a whole lot better. So here we now have an overall view of the tree. Maybe this branch is becoming to be a little too heavy, so I'm just going to pinch out the little growing tip here and have a strong growing tip here, which I will also remove. And well, yes, you know the concept of soft pinching, so you need to get the growing tips out of the parts that you don't want to elongate too much. I have a branch that doesn't start as fast as the other ones did, but I have seen that I have a few buds here that are just waiting. Well, no harm done. If this one doesn't work, well, I have this one to fill up the space, so I don't really worry about that. I kind of like the new little curve here, and well, okay, so I'm quite glad about that one. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.